Welcome, and thank you for joining us to celebrate World Card Making Day. I'm Sarah Douglas, Stampin' Up! CEO, and we're so happy you're here. During this event, we'll create beautiful cards together, and we hope you'll send them to your friends and family. We'll also see examples of cards you can make with a little extra time and creativity. There's so much in store. We'd love to see all the handmade cards you make at this event shared on social media, so be sure to use the hashtag WorldCardMakingDay25. Throughout this virtual event, we invite you to be part of our community and experience the joys of creativity. Now, some of you may be familiar with Stampin' Up!, but for those who aren't, I'd love to share a bit about our story. At Stampin' Up!, we design, develop, and manufacture high-quality crafting supplies. But we're about much more than that. Our mission has always been to encourage creativity and strengthen community while making a positive difference in people's lives. Whether it's gathering with friends to make something meaningful or the happiness that comes with creating something from scratch, we help people find connection through creativity. If you like what you see and you want to keep crafting after World Card Making Day is over, we invite you to connect with a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator anytime. What is a demonstrator, you might ask? Well, they make all of this possible by bringing people together through creative crafting experiences. If you want to learn all about what a demonstrator is and everything that includes, head to our Stampin' Up! Website. So what's ahead for you during this World Card Making Day event? First, I get to craft with you using the Handmade and Heartfelt kit, which you may have already purchased. This kit is so fun and has everything we need to make 10 cute cards and a little box to go in. Then a couple of our Stampin' Up! Employees will share ideas to help us get out of creative slumps, those times when we want to craft and create, but feel blocked at every turn. It's definitely something I've experienced before, so I'm excited to hear from them. And last but not least, we've asked an artisan design team member to show us some incredible cards that they've worked on and teach us ways to improve our skills. They're so talented, and I can't wait to see what they have for us. Are you ready? Now, the first step of any crafting experience is to make sure we have all the supplies we need. So go ahead and grab your Handmade and Heartfelt kit and some scissors, and we'll get started. We're gonna love, live, and share it today. I'm so excited to be able to create 3 of the cards from this lovely kit with you. This kit comes with the box and 5 different card designs, 2 of each of the cards. But I love that our instructions come with all of the parts and pieces that you need. So here's the page that's most important for me, and a little tip before you get started. I sort everything before I start making my projects. And so this piece right here that lists all the numbers, this just shows each of the supplies for each of the things you're making. So this one is the box, and then each of these are the cards that you're making. So keep those instructions handy so that you can refer back to them and the visuals that will help you along. Okay, so I'm going to start with card number 3, this card right here. So I'm going to set my instructions to the side so that I can see them. But I've got all of the pieces to make this particular card. So let me just show you up front what it's going to look like when it's all done. I love this card, Hello Sunshine. Now, of course, you can interchange these greetings. You've got a number of greetings to choose from in your kit, and they'll fit on these labels beautifully. So this is the first card, and I'm going to pull my supplies in that I need for this one and set them right here. I've also got some stamping that I need to be doing, and so I'm going to do that first. Now, in your kit, you're going to see a stamp set, and if you've never stamped before, I feel like this can be a little bit intimidating. Like, what do I do with all of this? So this is your stamp set, and it's got a little film over the top that you can just peel off, and then these create the stamps when you add them to your block. And so I will use the Hello Sunshine, and this is a little label. It'll help you know what's on the stamp set, and you'll be able to see it rather than looking through and figuring that out. Okay, so I've got my Hello Sunshine right here that I'll pull off first and put on my block. That creates the stamp so that I can stamp that on my little label. Now, you've got an ink spot as well. This is a Secret C ink spot. And I'm just going to take some scissors, or my paper snips as I call them, and we'll just slice along the edge of the label right here on both sides so that I can pull the lid off and use this little felt ink pad. Now I'm using the chipboard in the kit because I feel like this is a really great palette for stamping. It's not going to get my table inky or anything like that. So I'm just going to tap, tap, tap across the back of my stamp. So you can see that that's inked up this way. And I'm going to test it a little bit on my chipboard. I feel like that's a good first time stamping. If you're a little bit nervous, test on a scratch paper first before you start stamping on your labels. So now that that looks pretty good, I'll tap that again. Now you can do this a couple of different ways. You can tap directly on the stamp, or you can turn the stamp over and tap on the ink pad. Either one works, whatever you're most comfortable with. And then I'm just going to use this label sheet. You can punch out the label, or for me, it's a little bit more helpful to stamp directly on the label sheet so that I can see around it a little bit better. That's just my particular preference. So we'll just stamp that. We've got a hello sunshine, looks pretty good. And that's going to go with my card. So I always stamp first. I usually stamp everything that I need for each of these cards. But we'll just go card by card so that you're following along, okay? So the next piece that I'm going to need, at least for this card, is some twine. So I'm going to cut a little bit of that. And I'll point out in the instructions that it says I'm going to need 15 inches. Now, if you don't have a ruler handy, I just use the ruler on the side of my instructions. And I'm just going to do about 10 and then 5 more. And of course, we'll trim this off so that it looks nice when we're all done. So we've got our twine ready to go. And I think that that's everything I need. Yes. For this particular card. So then we can start assembling. Now, I will point out on the instructions right here that you'll be able to tell where the adhesive should be placed and which adhesive to use. So these ones, we're using this dimensional foam, and we're going to adhere that to even part of the rainbow. So let me show you how to do that. So I've got my rainbow piece right here as we assemble our card. And this dimensional sheet right here. Now, on the instructions, there's some snips, and you'll need to cut one of those dimensionals in half. So I'm just going to do that right off the bat and use half of this dimensional to adhere to that little piece of the rainbow right there. Okay, so we're good to go right here. And then I can add 4 more to the corners. And this has a little backing that you'll remove, and that creates a double-sided little doodad here. There we go. Double-sided. We'll take this little piece off, and that's going to pop up this rainbow piece. I'll do another one right here, just this little piece right here, so that it pops up off that card the way that I want it to. Okay, so we're going to turn that over and just adhere it to the card base. And you can see that there's been a rainbow printed on the inside of that, or on the front of that card. So it's going to peek through my little rainbow design, just like so. So I'm centering that on the card front, and this my dimensional here and here, so that'll keep those pieces popped up so that the rainbow, there you go. You can kind of see it right there, how that looks. Okay, so there's the first part of the card. Then we're going to add some dimensionals to these other pieces. I love that these can all pop up. They look so cute. Okay, we'll set those aside for just a second. I need to put my twine on. Okay, I can actually put the little flower on. That's cute. My little flower guy up here at the top of my rainbow. And then I've got this little, on your instructions, there's a little dot that shows up right here. And that's so that you can add some twine. So I'm going to add this glue dot. So this is also double-sided, so you want to peel one off and then adhere that right here on the front of the card. That's going to hold my twine before I put the label on. So I'll take the little piece off so that I've got a little glue dot right there. And then you take your twine and you can tie this in a bow. You can loop it around your fingers, however you want, back and forth. I'm not even going to tie it. I'm just going to loop it back and forth like I'm tying a bow, just like so. And then because it's going to be covered, then I can just trim that off. Okay, good to go. And then I'm ready to put my label on, just like this. We'll center that on the little sunshine. Little sunshine, a rainbow. I guess there's not a sunshine, it's a rainbow. There we go. Center it on my rainbow. And then we'll just finish this off with some sequins, some adhesive back sequins, and they can go wherever you want on your card. We can do one just on the inside here and maybe a couple at the bottom. Put them wherever you want, and this card comes together so quickly and so easily. So little tip beforehand, like I said, be sure and stamp first so that you've got the parts and pieces that you need, and cut your twine. Looks so cute. Love that. And it'll be great to go in an envelope. I like to keep either my envelopes on hand, or I'll just grab an envelope and stick it inside, or stick the card inside the envelope so that it's ready to go. So I can flip through them and still see the front of the card. But then the envelope is with the card and ready to address to a friend. Okay, card number 1. Check, check. All right, let's talk about this card number 2, this happy birthday card. We're going to stamp that as well. So I'm going to take off this particular stamp, and we're going to, and you, by the way, I don't have one handy, but you can just grab a wet wipe or a little chamois or a tissue or something and clean that off just with water. Works pretty well so that you can be ready to go again. All right, let's do the happy birthday. Anyone know someone who has a birthday coming up? This will be the perfect card for them. And we'll do the same thing. We're going to grab our little label here. Feel free to punch yours out or leave it in the sheet, whatever is easier for you. And we'll go ahead and stamp first. I always stamp it on the chipboard first. I feel like that gives me a prep. A little practice never hurt anybody. All right, so we'll stamp that again. A little happy birthday right here on my little arrow. I feel like this is a little pennant, and I love it. It kind of mimics the pennants in the background of the card. Okay, so I've got my pennant ready. I'm going to get my twine. This particular one, same 15 inches in length. So again, I'm going to measure this. I cut off a little bit on that one, so I think we'll be maybe go a little bit less for my liking. And then we'll be ready to assemble this card. Look how cute this one is. So this is what we're making, and you kind of see the peek through of the banners on the inside there, and then the sequins right here. So it comes together pretty quickly. I love all these little die cuts right here. Kind of these, or this little printed piece. So it looks like a sunburst, which I like as well in the design, and some texture on that background as well. All right, so we've got our pieces. We're ready to put them together. So this is where we're going to use dimensionals again. Love these, they're quick and easy. And we'll put one on each corner and one kind of down here on the side, just so it pops up that center circle and gives us some depth and dimension. I love this kit. I want to be able to have cards on hand. How many of you want to have cards on hand? I feel like when I want to send a card, I don't have time to make one. And so it's so much easier if I have them ready to go. And so I love the box that comes with the kit so that I can have these cards ready at a moment's notice. Okay, so we've got our card front, and then we'll just add, again, a little glue dot so that we can add some twine. We'll try something different this time just to mix things up. Okay, I think that's where I'm going to put mine. Okay, so we'll try this one. couple of different ways you can use your twine. I'm going to tie a bow in this one this time instead of just putting it on there. And we'll pull the little loops out just like so. And set this on here. That will hold that as well. So either way, you can tell it doesn't matter how you choose to do this. And then we'll add our little flag to the side. Our happy birthday. Got our dimensionals here. Gotta love a little dimension on your card. Makes it fun. A little more visually interesting. And I'm just lining up the side of the pennant with the side of that top portion. This card base right here. You could do either one. I'm lining mine up on the side like this, you can see. And then we just add a little bit of bling. So we've got 3 little sequins that we'll add to this, and they can kind of go wherever you choose, whether it's to accent the happy birthday or other parts of the card. We'll add one down here. Right there. Oh, I want to pop that one up a little bit. Okay, so we've got this one. Look how cute. Quick and easy. I also love this kit and other kits that we sell because they can go on a trip with me or in the car or to a coffee shop or a restaurant or something. They're really self-contained. There we go. Self-contained so that you can really craft wherever you're headed and wherever you're going. And crafting with friends. It's always more fun, I feel like, to craft with someone else. So there's our other card. We can add that to an envelope so that it's ready to go. And then we'll jump to our last card. Okay, card number 2. Let's jump to card number 3. This is the card that we'll be putting together. Got some pieces. It has some different bling on it, which I like. And then you see those little birdies peek through, which is cute. So this is a thank you card. Of course, you can mix and match your sentiments to your heart's content. So if you send a lot of thank you cards, then go ahead and make them all thank you cards. If you do more birthday cards, then go with that. But you've got lots of sentiments to choose from. Okay, so we'll grab our components for this card. And we're going to start with this little Swiss cheese look. like punch out all of your circles. This is going to let those little birds peek through. And some of the patterns as well. So that's going to be the first thing that we adhere. And then I'll stamp my sentiment. So if you were going to make all of these cards all at once, my recommendation would be to stamp everything first. But I wanted you to see how quickly these cards come together. So I am doing this maybe a little bit out of the order that I normally would. But it does come together beautifully. So if you are sitting there with me and you're making all 10 cards, then get all that stamping done. Use the sentiments that you like. Think about the people that you're sending your cards to and go with that. Okay, so we'll add this portion to the card. Make sure all those fun little design elements are peeking through. Love that. And then the same process follows. So we had our happy birthday one on here. I send a lot of thank yous, so I'm really glad that this one is a thank you. Thanks so much. Add that to my block. And then I'm going to practice again. I feel like it's always good to test a stamp before you stamp it on your card or on a label. So go ahead and practice. That looks pretty good. I pushed down a little hard on that one. So I'll go a little softer on my next one. That's why we practice, friends. That's why we practice. Okay, so we've got thanks so much. And I'm just going to center it right on that label. Straight down and straight up. Looks great. We've got little scalloped edge there that I love on that label. And then we're going to go ahead and grab some twine for this one. Again, 15 inches. I'm getting good at this. I should have cut all 3. So there's a tip for you. Here we go. A little bit more. That'll be ready for my card. I love making cards because I'm thinking about the people that I'm sending them to. And I'm also thinking about maybe a list of friends that I haven't sent cards to that I want to send cards to. Is anybody else like that, where you're like, oh, I should send a card to someone, and then you forget and you don't, or you put it on a list? I have a few of those. So I'm going to use these cards to send to friends. All right, so we've got, again, a little glue dot that we're going to use. Whichever method you prefer will work. To add one right there in the center. Now, of course, if you wanted a minimalist card, you could just stamp a sentiment right here. You wouldn't even need to use the label. But we'll make the cards as intended. But of course, it's your kit, and you can choose to create however you like. And we'll just run this through, make it look like a little bow. Tack it down there and trim my little end. All right. Got my little bow and then some dimensionals on my label. Love it so much. And we'll attach it right to the card front. Right in the center. So cute. And we get to use these little glittery bling right here. We'll just use a few of them. Kind of plop them all over the card, kind of on the top. Accent some of those pieces. Just a little extra bling on the card. And I think we are good to go. Look how cute. Pretty simple and straightforward. And then, of course, like I've done before, I'm going to go ahead and put that in an envelope so that I'm ready to grab and go for those people that I need to thank. So, of course, there are 5 designs in this kit. So let me show you the other 2 cards that you can make. We've got a floral right here with a little burst in the back. Same idea. You're going to adhere the backing and then your flowers, and then over the top you've got your label. So this one's a thinking of you card. I do send a lot of thinking of you cards. I think there's always a good reason to send one. And sometimes you don't even need a reason to be thinking of someone, right? And then we've got another one, wishing you the best. So you can mix and match. I like the shell and it looks like coral in the background. It's kind of pretty. That blue, dark blue pops through that die cut right there. You also get this box that comes in the kit and put together. So when your cards are all done, you can put them inside of the box. Let me show you this box. You've got some larger pockets here and then some smaller ones, maybe some for pens. You can see right here, and then some stamps for your envelopes. But this has a slanted front so that you can see what's on the inside, but it'll sit beautifully on your desk, so that when you're thinking of those friends and the cards that you want to send, they'll be at your fingertips. I think that's the most important thing. We love making cards, but it's even more important that we send them with a heartfelt message on the inside, so that we're brightening someone's day and letting them know we're thinking about them. So if you loved this Handmade Heartfelt kit, it also comes in other languages, of course. It comes in French and German as well as English. So that's good to know. But we also have lots of other kits. If you want to try one of those experiences, you can head to the website and shop from a variety of simple, easy, and fun kits. And guess what? Even better, starting on October 6th, for just a few days, all of the kits like this one are up to 30% off. So if you loved crafting with the kit, it's a great time to shop. Thanks so much for spending time crafting with me today. I'm excited to be able to turn the time over to Karen and Melody. I'm so excited to see what they're sharing with us.
Welcome to World Card Making Day. We hope you're having an awesome time. I'm Karen, and I'm a product and field specialist here at Stampin' Up.
And I'm Melody, and I'm the concept art manager here at Stampin' Up.
Well, and those are the people that make the magic happen, that you get to look at all that beautiful art. And so I was thinking, Melody, before we got started, I'll bet you never have creative block.
Oh, all the time. I will say, I don't personally love every piece of artwork that we put out. So to me, that's always the fun challenge of what do I do with this? And it's also a reason why we work together in the office, is because if I don't have an idea, someone else on the team will have an idea.
That's so
But
true.
yeah, sometimes we get there. Creative people still have challenges every once in a while, but we've got some solutions to share with you today that if
We
you're
do.
having a creative block, you can get started with using these ideas. So
Should we share
Mhm.
some of those ideas? Okay, so we brought some things to show you today, and we also brought some sketches. I think sketches are a perfect way to deal with creative block, and we provide those in a lot of places for you, but your catalog's a great resource. We have several sketches in the catalog, but we have some brand new ones for you today, and I think we shared them with you ahead of time, right?
yes, we did.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to bring one in. This is the sketch that we're going to start out with. And I wanted to mention something fun. We're making cards today, obviously, but any of the sketches that we're using today for a card, you could easily expand to memory keeping. Not only that, you could rotate.
Yeah, you
Like-
can modify them however you want. It's just a place to get started and
Yeah.
get inspired.
So I think it's always smart to think that I don't have to make it exactly
Correct.
like that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to be using a really beautiful stamp set today. Well, actually, two of them that you can see right here in front of you, Builder Blossoms and With You in Mind.
Yeah, Builder Blossoms is our new one from the September-December catalog. And then With You in Mind is actually a carryover, and it's available in the annual catalog.
Awesome.
Of course, both can be found on the website.
Melody is always full of great information that I don't always know. So I'm so glad she's here to make sure we know all of it. And we have a card that we're going to make, and I think we're going to do something really fun today, right, Melody? We're going to show them like a really basic card, and then
We're
we'll
gonna
step it up a little
yeah.
bit.
Yeah, we want to make sure that whoever you are that's watching, you're finding something that's inspiring and fun to you that you would want to make.
Yeah. So should we get started?
Absolutely.
Let's do. Okay. So I wanted to show you this piece of paper because we're using paper from a 6x6 DSP pack called, help me out,
Beautiful bokeh.
Beautiful Bokeh.
Mhm.
And you can see, I'm just going to show this to you a little bit closer up. Let's see. There I am. Where it already has kind of a bokeh effect to it. And in our stamp set, when you look at this stamp set, I think it's kind of fun to note that there are some really cool things in the stamp set. This right here, even though it's meant to be a petal, is going to be perfect to create kind of an extra bokeh
Mhm.
effect, don't you
Yeah.
think?
Polka
So
dots, why
we're
not?
going to
Yeah.
use that. We already have it on a block here. And my sample here is a 3.5 by 3.5 square.
Yep.
For any of you that are writing down measurements that we cut from that. And then we've already stamped a couple of these. We're going to call them polka dots at this point. On this little square here in two colors, balmy blue,
Mhm.
yes,
Yep.
and fresh
Fresh
fuchsia.
fuchsia. You got it.
Look at me.
You got it.
Okay, and then I'm going to stamp some more with Berry Burst. And you can see, I think sometimes people are scared to do a look like this because they're like, how do I know where to put it, right?
Yeah.
And so I like to call this planned random. What did you call it the other day, Melody?
I don't remember.
When I said planned random, you go,
Oh,
"We could
plandom.
Plandom. Let's call it plandom. I love it. It's a whole new thing. And I do like to ink my stamp up and stamp off. Now I wanted to show you really quickly. Can you see there's some parts that are a little less bold on there?
The lighter. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that. These are called distinctive stamps, so they almost look like they're watercolored.
Yeah.
Really
and
cool.
It's amazing how well these work together. And I can't wait for you to see project number 2, but we'll finish project number 1 first.
Yeah, we get excited, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to add one right here. Here's my little trick for plandom. So I like to create a triangle. 1, 2, 3. And then I can build from that triangle and go 1, 2, 3, add another one here. 1, 2, 3, maybe one going off the edge a little bit. 1, 2, 3, right there. And so that I've kind of got a cool look that isn't perfect, but that is spaced in a nice way.
Yeah.
Especially with this bolder color, which we saved for last, which is nice. I'm going to make one go off this little corner. Why not? I love it when they go off the
Mhm.
plane, don't
Yeah,
you?
Yep. You got to break the field.
Yes, absolutely. All right. I think, I don't know, one more. Why not? I can't stop myself.
Oh, it's so much fun.
Yeah. And then we're just going to take this and cut it into 4 equal pieces. Like I mentioned, this is 3.5 by 3.5. And so we want 1 3/4 inch squares. I wish I had someone like you in my craft room, Melody's cleaning my stamp after I stamped. Wouldn't it be nice to
To
just...
accidentally put my hand on it or something.
I would, for sure. But don't we all need an assistant
Oh,
to
yeah.
just clean stamps and throw things away?
Part of the fun of crafting with someone else.
Yeah, give them that job.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we've got our 4 squares. And as you can see here, we have the finished card. And that's what we are going with. Let me bring in this sketch too. Let's see if I can just fit it all on camera.
Good thing we have a big table.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, and my little card. This is a note card. And I'm just going to add some adhesive to each of these.
Is it started?
Yep, it is now.
Okay.
And we'll just kind of, hopefully mine will be similar in angle to our example. But even if it's not, it's great,
It's
right?
inspiration. It doesn't have to be exact. You've already said that.
The thing that people forget is that even though they may be using a sketch and it's not exact, the person they're giving their card to certainly is not seeing the sketch, right?
It's a good thing someone left their snips from the other presentation.
That was handy. When I'm snipping off things that go over the edge, I like to turn it over.
Mhm.
Do you do that too?
Yeah, it's easier to follow that edge.
Yes, so much easier. And I'm just cutting off our little excess pieces here. I think I even have a little baby edge right there. And we'll use some dimensionals, which are one of my personal favorite things of all time.
I love to cut mine in half.
Yes, and use those little edges
Oh,
too.
absolutely.
And we're going to, in fact, maybe cutting them in half would be a good idea on this guy.
I should have brought you some mini dimensionals. My apologies.
No, it's okay. I think that's good. We can show them. I mean, there's always a way, right?
Adapt.
Where there's a will, there is a way.
Yeah.
And I'm using this really fun little thank you. That is from one of our mix and match collections. And it's going to go right in the middle. I'm going to just try and create one mess pile. There we go. We're going to add thank you right here. And then for a final touch, we always need some embellishments, right?
Always.
This is our take your pick tool, and I'm going to use the end that is kind of this
The
sharper.
piercing tool.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And this is my tip for embellishments. I think everybody has their own way of doing them, but I love to push on them with my finger first. Which ones am I using? The pink ones. Because then I feel like that glue dot that's under them adheres even better.
That's
And
new
so,
for me. Thanks
awesome.
for the tip.
And then I like to use my pokey tool to pick it up. It sticks to the end, and then I can easily put it down, push with my finger, and slide the pokey tool out. The piercing tool, sorry.
Pokey works too. I know what you're talking
It is
about.
pokey. Trust me, my fingers have learned that a time or two. And we'll just add a few of these here and there. And you know what? I'm not even going to add all of them because I feel like we've got so much good stuff to show them. I don't want to waste too much
See the
time.
finished one up there.
That's right. And they've now seen the tip of...
Yeah.
So let's show them the stepped up one, shall we?
Yeah. So for the stepped up one, I've stuck with the same sketch, but we've done a little bit more cutting to add more pieces. So you can see the 4 pieces that Karen had on hers. And so I've got the 1 3/4 inch square here. And I'm just going to take the bullet tip of my Stampin' Write markers and just add a little bit more.
You know what, Melody? Let's
Texture.
move you over here while you do that. They'll be able to see it perfectly close up if we move over there. There you go.
Where's the camera?
Right there.
There it
Go up.
is. Okay, you're there. Can you see that? Okay, so I'm just going to draw some of this on here with my balmy blue. And then
How
with my
cute is that?
freesia, I'm going to use the same bullet tip. And I'm just going to draw some dots around the freesia circles.
So creative. See why I never thought she would have creative block ever a day in her life?
It happens. Okay, so once I'm done with that, I'm going to do all 4 squares, of course. We're just going to cut that in half into 3/4 inch pieces by 1 3/4, and then glue them down. And then because I'm using the thank you from the with you in mind, I needed to space those a little bit further apart than what we did with the mix and match piece.
Isn't that cute? I love it.
Yeah, simple and fun. I still would call it simple, but it's just more pieces.
Love
So
it.
let's move on to the next sketch.
Let's do. Okay.
So this is the card. And this one's also, we're going with the standard A2 size card on here, but we're sticking with basic white because it really helps show the distinctive nature of the stamps here. And we're going to start with our fresh freesia and our daffodil delight. So I've already mounted the big flower center here, and then our little Muppet hand. I think that's what we were calling it.
Yes, I do. I think that was such a good explanation.
So we've got our daffodil, and I'm gonna, oh, actually, you know what? I'm gonna start with my petal first.
When Melody made this the other day when we were kind of talking this through, I learned a ton. This is a really cool tip that she's about to show you.
So I'm gonna stamp my petal where I know I want the first one to go. And then I'm gonna stamp my center, if I could get it off my ink pad. And then I'm gonna finish going around with the rest of the petals.
That's such a great tip. I love it.
So that way you know exactly where you're going instead of guessing that you've got the spacing right for your center.
Yeah.
And it will end up being a more round flower. So I'll just keep finishing that off. Karen, do you want to show us the sketch?
Oh, yeah. Let's do that. How
Okay.
fun is that sketch? I love that it's circles and that Melody's adapted that circle to actually be the flowers.
Yeah, why not? So the one last tip I've got for this is that you can flip your flower center over. I don't love the high contrast of the white with the daffodil there. So I've cleaned that off. I'm going to flip it over. Works a lot like our reversibles.
Yep.
Stamp that off and then stamp the flower center. So that way it gives us a little bit less contrast between
And
the
softer. Don't you think that gives it a really nice soft look?
Yeah.
That's another advantage I feel like when you're crafting with a friend. You can play off of each other while you're crafting, right?
Yeah,
Like
yep.
I would have never thought to do my petals that way or to turn that center over. Should we show them a stepped up version of this one?
So yeah, we've got the 4 flowers.
Oh, let's show them this finished one here.
The 4 flowers as represented here.
Mhm.
And then again, we've pulled in our mix and match sentiment in our embellishments. And then to step that up, what have you got?
I've got this. Now, let me just tell you how we created this. First of all, we went to 3 circles instead of 4, just because it made it easier to cut out. But we added a layer of this beautiful balmy blue here to the card base. And then we still stamped these like we would have on the card base here. But then we just cut them out with our scissors and added them dimensionally. Let's see if you can see that. That's kind of cool. See that dimension? And then heat embossed our happy birthday on some black cardstock, which, come on, that's just amazing, right?
It just mirrors our
Yep.
mix and match sentiment. So
I told Melly when she showed me this card earlier, you had me at heat embossing. It's my favorite thing ever. ever.
yeah.
Okay, let's move on to
Our last one, let's start with the sketch.
cool sketch, right? And look, like,
We could go
So
either
many ways,
direction.
right?
Yep. So here's the card.
okay.
And you were going to show us the technique on this one.
Yes, I am. And this is when we maybe should tell people you don't always have to be perfect,
Right.
just to prepare them for what I'm about to do.
Yeah, well, I think the technique on this one just lends itself to just a little bit more freeform.
Which I like that. I
Yeah.
feel like it feels a little more organic what we're about to do.
So we've got some sponge daubers and calypso coral and daffodil delight ink.
Thank you very much
That's
for
what you
making
got.
sure we got all the colors right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got to pull my sleeves up for this one. All right, we are going to do some daubing on our stamp. Normally, we think we just put a stamp on a stamp pad, right? Here, we're going to take our Daffodil Delight, and we're going to put this right in the center of our stamp. And it's a little hard to see because it's yellow, but you'll be able to see when I do it with the Calypso
Oh, yeah.
Coral. And I'm even going to overlap them a little bit. And one tip for you about this technique is that you're going to want to make sure you start with your lighter color.
Mm-hmm.
That way you're not mixing them and getting them all confused on your daubers. So we're just going to make our way around here.
Yeah, that shows up a lot better.
Yes, they can see that, right? And I'm even going to let it go a little bit to the center. Why not? It's not supposed to be perfection. And I'll just add this right here. And then we've got that
So cute.
fun flower that is, it almost looks like it was watercolored and bled just
Mhm.
a little bit,
Yeah.
which I think is so cute.
Absolutely.
And that's how we achieve all that.
3 of those, yeah.
Yep. Let's just move that where they can see it a little bit better. Isn't that pretty? You see that little bit of bleed right there into the center gorgeous. So there's a new technique for you.
Okay, so let's show you our stepped up sample.
Oh, let's keep this one
So
too.
on our sketch, we had kind of a split down the middle, which we've represented with the designer series paper here. For our stepped up one, we again did a lot more fussy cutting, added in the leaf from the On My Mind, and then we actually turned this into a gatefold.
Love
So
that.
use your sketches to also look at different ways to cut your card base. It's not just layers.
Yes.
So
I think that's so perfect, and that leaf is so cute.
yeah,
What do you think? Think we
Well,
left them with some good stuff today?
I sure hope so.
Yeah, I think we did, and I think they're going to get some more good stuff
Oh yeah,
coming right up,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah,
Who's going to join us next?
we've got members of our artisan design team who will be preparing it for sharing with you next.
Yes, and so you will have someone in your very own language from the artisan design team, which will create another beautiful project.
Absolutely. Karen, thanks for sharing your time with me today.
It was so fun.
Thanks for being here with us, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your World Card Making Day.
And share it today. We're gonna love, live and share it today.
Hoi, leuk dat je kijkt op deze Wereldkaartenmaakdag. Het is toch te gek hè, dat we een eigen dag hebben, dat over de hele wereld heen mensen bezig zijn met het maken en het versturen van kaarten. Er een ander blij mee maken, daar gaat het natuurlijk om. Ik ben Sarine Zijdeveld uit Nederland en ik ga je het Light & Wonder productpakket laten zien. Mooie stempels en stansen en ik ga ze laten zien en hopelijk ook wat ideeën aanreiken voor wat je ermee kunt. Dit is het productpakket Light & Wonder. Stempels en stansen en ze maken onderdeel uit van een groter collectiepakket dat heet Lights of Aurora, dus Noorderlicht. En er zit ook echt Noorderlicht papier bij, designpapier met die vegen aan de hemel, met allerlei kleuren blauw en paars en aqua, prachtig. En bijpassende kleuren embellishments en lint. Dus je kan met dat collectiepakket, met al die op elkaar afgestemde producten ook veel meer doen dan alleen kaarten maken. Ook 3D-projecten, scrapbooking, decoratie, wat je maar wilt, maar ook alleen al met de stempels en de stansen is het fijn werken. Van de stempelset vind ik het heel mooi hoe dat strakke lettertype gecombineerd is met dat schrift. Dat zwierige handgeschrevene en dan zijn het ook nog originele woorden. Goed uit te knippen, als je van uitknippen houdt. En ik vind het altijd wel leuk om te doen. Zo mooie tekst uitknippen. En met de stansen, ja, dat vind ik, daar zit iets bijzonders aan. Het zijn 9 stansen, maar omdat er zitten lijnen in, een beetje horizonlijnen. En die geven eigenlijk een positief en een negatief. Dus je krijgt meer dan je aan de stansen zou zeggen. Daarom heb ik wat kaartkarton uitgestanst, dan kun je de vormen echt goed zien. En het is dus in ieder geval een landschapsset met die horizonlijnen en de bomenrij, de wolken. Maar het bijzondere ervan is dat zo'n horizonstans dus 2 kanten heeft. En met dat je deze rij bomen krijgt, krijg je ook het negatief ervan. Dat zou je om kunnen klappen en met inkblending krijg je een reflectie bijvoorbeeld in het water. Hier kun je andere dingen mee doen, daar zal ik in de kaarten wat van laten zien. Ik heb 3 kaarten voorbereid met één techniek erbij. En hier heb je ook die horizonlijnen. Ja, dit is natuurlijk gewoon eigenlijk ook een randenstans die je best bij een funfold zou kunnen gebruiken. Of hier iets met een scheureffect. Het zijn bergen. En hier heb je dan stukjes sneeuw. Maar ook dat geeft weer een andere kant. En je zou hem natuurlijk ook zo kunnen gebruiken als de bast van een boom. Of dit is water, waar die boompjes naast kunnen staan. En dan heb je hier zo waterspiegel als het ware van een meer. Maar dat kan ook voor paper piecing, dat je er een soort puzzelstukje van maakt. Leuk abstract voor mannenkaarten. Dus daar is veel meer mee te doen dan alleen een landschap. En ik vind het leuk om je de dingen mee te laten zien. Ik laat je bij deze stansenset graag een techniek zien waarbij je met versemark inkt en wit embossingpoeder sneeuw maakt en schaduw op de bergen. Daar is natuurlijk deze bergrand van Basic Grey kaartkarton goed geschikt voor. Ik heb een stukje kladpapier afgescheurd en daar kan je rotsranden mee maken. Sneeuw aan de ene kant, schaduw aan de andere kant. En je kan zelf de hoek bepalen hoe die rotspunt loopt eigenlijk. Ik heb een spongedobber speciaal voor versamark inkt. En gewoon eens even kijken hoe dit uitkomt. Je kan altijd extra doen. Dus er kan niks misgaan of zo. Hier zit ook zo'n soort richeltje. Een bergtopje. Je kan een beetje vegen. En je kunt ook met je Take Your Pick tool een bergpaadje maken. Dat kan ik hier wel laten zien. Beetje veegjes. Dus kijken hoe dit wordt. Ik bewaar mijn embossingpoeder altijd in grote bakken, want ik werk ook met A4'tjes. En dan vind ik dat wel handig om dat gewoon daarin op te bergen. Zoiets. Even tegen de weerschijn eraf. Normaal zou ik dit eronder laten. Dan kan je wat vegen. Door die sneeuw wat een beetje te vervagen en een beetje wat natuurlijker te maken. Hier vind ik het juist mooi voor die rotspunt. En dan kan je ook met de Take Your Pick tool hier een beetje, ja, krassend als het ware. Zo. Zo'n rotsrand maken. Eens even kijken hoe dit wordt om te beginnen. Kijk, hoe leuk. Die spikkeltjes, die heb ik met opzet niet weggehaald, want ik vind dat een leuk effect geven als er van die spikkeltjes zitten. En van onderaf verhitten zorgt ervoor dat dat losse poeder op die gedeeltes waar ik heb geveegd, dat dat niet zo makkelijk wegwaait. Dus zo heb je toch een heel gave, echte Alpenrand. En dit is de kaart die ik met zo'n bergrand gemaakt heb. Achtergrond heel licht geïnkblend. Voorgrond een bomenrij uitgestanst, ook weer met dat poedersneeuw erop. Het weiland ook. En hier zit nog wat klein rood kaartkarton in. Vond ik wel een leuk accent geven. Dus in laagjes opgebouwd. De achtergrond is designpapier dat ik zelf gestempeld heb met de teksten uit de set. En wat heat embossing ook met zo'n tekst eroverheen. Nog 2 andere kaarten te laten zien, maar dit was de techniek van de bergen. Dit is de tweede kaart die ik met deze set gemaakt heb. En je ziet wel, het hoeft geen winter te zijn. Het kan ook zomer zijn. En de dennenbomen kunnen ook lupines of lavendel zijn of een loofboom. Wat ik hier heb gedaan is de kleine dennenbomenrij uitgestanst. Ik zal even zo doen, zien we hem beter. Daar valt dit vanaf, als het ware. Hier zit dan normaal een uitstulping naar beneden. Hier voor dit weggetje. Dat heb ik weggeknipt, dat deel. En dan kan je ze zo voor en achter elkaar zetten en een beetje schuiven met hoe je het hebben wilt. En dan wordt ook die vorm van dennenbomen een beetje verbloemd. Het wordt een beetje anders. En het was ook echt basic white. Ik heb het gekleurd met Stampin' Blends, te beginnen met de kleur van de bloemen. En wat je dan overhoudt als wit, ingekleurd met groen. En de achtergrond geïnkblend met Azure Afternoon. Een heel klein beetje lichtjes, wat wolkjes gemaakt. Vogeltjes ingetekend en de sprietjes met een journalingpen. En hier de grote dennenbomenstans, uitgestanst uit Lemon Lime Twist. En er met Stampin' Blends allerlei groenkleuren opgezet en in stukjes geknipt. Dus dit zijn gewoon, dat is die grote dennenboom in plukjes rondgeknipt en op elkaar gezet. Leuk, hè? En de derde kaart is dit voorbeeld. Een vierkante Z-fold kaart. Strawberry slush met namen en wat zilver en wat bubbelbath. En hier heb ik van de dennenbomen de kant gemaakt. Met de grote dennenbomenstans. En dan kan je stroken kant maken van zo breed en zo hoog. Want ja, de kleinste boom bepaalt als het ware de hoogte van de strook. Dat heb ik 5 keer gedaan hier. Als je hem dan ook nog omgekeerd zet, dan ben je helemaal dat idee van die bomen wel kwijt. Dan wordt het kant. En voor de cirkel aan de voorkant heb ik ditzelfde gebruikt en een beetje op elkaar geplakt, ronddraaiend. De lijm hieronder zie je toch niet, want daar zit een cirkeltje op. Tot het groot genoeg is om een cirkel uit te stansen. En dan heb je een kanten cirkel. Dit is zelfgemaakt designpapier met de letter W van Wonder uit de stempelset. Dat is een heel mooi gestileerde een slangetje als het ware, een slingertje. En het is dus basic white en ik heb daar een paar keer die W opgestempeld, zo in elkaar doorlopend. Beetje inkblending, wat spikkels met een stempel white marker en je hebt mooi bijpassend designpapier. Dit is de derde. Dit was de tweede. En dit was de eerste. Dit zijn ze. Ik hoop dat je het leuk vond en dat ik je op ideeën kon brengen. Ik heb in ieder geval nu zelf 3 heel verschillende kaarten om mensen weer blij te maken voor verschillende gelegenheden. Maak ook iets moois, leuks, liefs om een ander mee te verrassen. Veel plezier met Wereld-kaartenmaakdag verder en heel graag tot de volgende kaart. Dag!
We're gonna love, live and share it today.
This event has been a wonderful way to celebrate World Card Making Day. We hope you had a great time crafting along with us. Please send the cards you created to a friend or loved one. I think, as I said before, that's the most meaningful part. And if you post your beautiful creations on social media, don't forget to use the hashtag WorldCardMakingDay25. Now, if you loved the Handmade Heartfelt kit and want to explore all the other all-inclusive experiences like that, head to our website and shop from a wide variety of simple, easy, and fun kits. And as I said before, starting October 6th, for just a few days, all kits just like that one we made are up to 30% off. If you love kits, it's a great time to shop. A big thank you to everyone who shared the products they love and brought us together for this event. And thank you for attending. It wouldn't have been the same without you. We'll see you next time. Enjoy.
We're gonna love, live and share it today.